The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, good evening. Today's session is about how to become a cybersecurity expert from Eureka. I welcome you all for this wonderful session where you are going to learn about why cybersecurity and what is driving cybersecurity positions and jobs and the dynamics. And then you will also learn what are the different career paths available. And in the end, you will also know how to become one cybersecurity expert in the domain you have chosen. So with that, we start the session today. You have any questions you can put it in the question section area and we'll answer it in the end. Thank you very much. With that, let's start with the first item, right? So what do we understand about cybersecurity and why cybersecurity is so important now? Let me ask one thing. Now, how are you transacting money? Are you using any more coins or notes, or are you using more of digital currency? Yeah. So most of you say that you started using your Paytms and Google Pay and maybe the electronic transactions, etc. Right? So that is what are we speaking then is we are actually dealing with digital currency. Today, this session, what we are hearing is on a digital platform called Eureka, right? Which means the learning is moved from physical classroom sessions to digital. And third, shopping. We are now ordering any material, whatever we want, whether it is clothes, jewelry, or items related to groceries. All of them we are purchasing on e-shopping, such as Amazon or other Flipkart, etc. Right? So we are in the era of digital. So the transactions are all become digital. We are working on mobile. We're buying on mobile. We are dealing money on mobile. We are playing on mobile. So almost everything happens on digital era, right? So which actually brings to a question, right? When everything is moved to digital era, the data becomes the new oil, new deciding factor, the new currency. So when the data becomes the new oil and the new wealth, obviously the thieves will be behind the money, right? The money is data. So what we find more and more today is about data exploitation. We see data breaches. We hear about data leakages, right? And what is so great about data exploitation? What is so great about data leakage? It's nothing as long as that data is very important for you, for the organization. And you trust a bank because they keep your transactions safe and secure. And if that bank is hacked, all your transactions, whatever you have done, how much money you have, how are you dealing with, everything is out in the open. Do you trust that bank anymore? No. So the brand value of an organization relies on the data. So because of that, cybersecurity is gaining popularity day by day, right? So what kind of threats are causing this kind of digital exploitation? There are multiple things. There are malwares which can actually exploit a website or your system or your mobile to actually do something which you never imagined, right? Phishing is something like you see a mail saying that you hit a lottery of around 1 million or more, but inside that what you see is a lookalike website of a bank where they are capturing the bank details with which they'll log into your bank and take your money away. That's one of the scenarios, but there are many other scenarios how the phishing happens. So that's another type. And then password attacks. The most simple things are the password attacks. So most passwords are guessable. people actually try to exploit it, exploit the password and hack into the accounts and get that money or get the transaction done, or buy something on your behalf of a person, or steal some valuable intellectual property from an organization. This all happens. DDoS is nothing but denial of attack, denial of service attack. For example, you're working now and suddenly your network disappears, you lose the connection, and you will not be able to work anymore, right? So DDoS is nothing but actually taking the system away or working on the availability point of view, right? So all other areas are like man in the middle and drive-by. All these are different varieties of threats which occur in the world, right? I just don't want to go into details for those people who don't understand this. I think these will come in the basics of cybersecurity, what they are, etc. By the way, if you don't know these elements also, still you can study cybersecurity. It's not necessary that everybody need to know about the threat landscape as a beginner kit. Yeah, just to give you a concept. So the next item. So now you know that there are threats exist. There is a chance that somebody can drive you in a place where you do not have any meaning to. So what do we do actually to address that? So now we'll learn about what is cybersecurity and how we'll understand more basics of cybersecurity. So let's come to a point called cybersecurity, right? So cybersecurity is all about 3 letters, right? Just remember these 3 letters, you learn cybersecurity or information security. Letter C, confidentiality. So what is confidential? I know a lot of you already know it, but because there is no interaction happening, just think about what is confidential means. Confidentiality is all about giving access to the right person, the right information, right? The people who do not have authorization will not be able to see the data or access that data. So that is all about confidentiality. And second, I is about integrity. So what do you mean by integrity there? I'm just giving this pause so that you remember these concepts. Yes, some of you already guessed it. So integrity is something like so whatever you are transacting is not changing in the middle of the transaction. For an example, I wrote a check for Mr. X for 10,000 rupees, and something happened in the between, whether that person or some middleman changed the 10,000 into 100,000, and amount got dropped is 100,000. So that is an integrity issue. The transaction was not known to the origin, that is the person who had written the check, and also do not know, even the end person do not know the change happened. The transaction is an unauthorized transaction, which actually, by doing so, that the integrity is lost, right? The concept here is about stopping unauthorized changes during the transaction. That's integrity. The third one is availability, right? Providing the systems for those people who have authorization, right? Let's say this laptop on which you are accessing, you have username and password. You are authorized to access it. And suddenly it goes down because some malware came in or somebody attacked the system, which is actually all around making system unavailable for those people who are authorized, right? Hope you got those 3 concepts. If you know, that means you actually got the basics of cybersecurity. So what are we protecting against? The point 1, unauthorized access, which we already spoke about, unauthorized modification, and unauthorized deletion. Yeah. So these are the concepts which we are speaking about. These are the 3 concepts for which we are protecting against. Right? Let's think about the next layer. Right? And one more thing we need to understand, cybersecurity is not a new concept which came in today. It has been there for a while. When was it identified? It was identified long back in 1980. There used to be a time, I'm not sure how many knows about I love you virus. And then there is one virus which is the most popular in 1980s were Mitnick worm. And 1990 you saw a lot of viruses. The one I spoke about called I love you virus is around 1995 or 90 or around 2000. Right? What that does is actually it sits on a MS SQL server. If it is unpatched, it actually starts sending messages which says I love you, I love you. Yeah, people actually open it because it's passing love messages, right? And actually what is underlying that message is actually a malware, and which keeps on spreading across all the databases and corrupts the entire database, right? That's the one type of virus you don't see it today, but now you find more and more advanced malwares. Yeah. In 2000s onwards, there is a surge in attack on credit cards, because credit card, if you have the credit card number and the CVV number, you can do the transaction. There is no secondary authentication at that time. So there was a surge in authentication at that time. And then the way the attacks are increasing, cybersecurity has been actually morphing itself to protect users all along to address these kind of challenges. Sorry. Sorry if that my mouse got stuck for a moment. So now we just spoke about it has been there for so many years. Then why it is actually suddenly under spotlight? It's because as we just said earlier, the usage of digital is not so much. Now everybody is using digital. So when there is too much of money, and there will be so many thieves. The same way, there's so much of data around, and the data is very valuable, and data is something which everybody is considering valuable. Then attacks started increasing and growing enormously. Mainly last 8 years or so, starting from 2012 onwards, the attacks increased phenomenally. Yeah, you see, big companies are facing attacks, right? Almost what we can say every second and every minute we are seeing attacks happening on the systems and web applications and databases right now, right? So when we are seeing this largest data breaches in the industry, what we need to understand is this is happening because there is a expanded landscape of the data, point one. And point two, why is it happening is also because so we started using data more frequently and considering it is more valuably. And when we are considering that more valuably, obviously there are regulations coming into play. The organizations actually started coming up with our minimum security principles and minimum regulations a particular organization has to comply with. Right? If you are a financial organization, you have to comply with FINRA. If you are a healthcare organization, then you need to comply with HIPAA. Then if you are a payment card company, then you need to comply with PCI. So like that, there are multiple regulations have come in to enforce security requirements onto the organization so that the data gets protected and people get protected. Now, the latest one is about data privacy. The data privacy regulations become quite popular because the personal data like healthcare information or personal information, and then your financial information, transactions, all these are personal. We don't want that to be revealed. So, and if some organization is actually unable to protect the data in the way it's expected, they will be going through penalties, right? That is enforced by GDPR. Right? This is a global data protection regime which came in, regulations which came in. That's another strong one, which is actually enforcing the cybersecurity requirements across the organization. Okay, by now you understand that cybersecurity is an exciting and challenging field. Why? As every day there is a new attack happening. Every day a new vector coming in. Every day you are finding a different threat landscape coming in. So you will never be bored in cybersecurity for sure. Yeah. And next one is I think there is a common saying that there is job security in security industry. Right? There is always job, and some are the other jobs because there are so many open positions available in the market. As per the statistics, as per my knowledge, it is coming up to 3.5 million jobs are open in cybersecurity right now, which is a huge number, huge demand in cybersecurity roles, and we not have sufficient people who can fill that positions. And then cybersecurity is getting aligned with Industry 4.0. What is Industry 4.0? It's about IoT, and it's about cloud computing, it's about big data, it's about automation and data management. So when the industry evolution is moving towards digital, so earlier, if you see a machinery, we are expecting that it's a machinery, it doesn't transact or communicate with digital data. Right now, the machinery can talk to cloud. It can send the transactions of how much of oil it consumed, how many gallons of oil it consumed, and what is the rate, speed at which the turbine is running, and how much of electricity came out. So all the statistics which comes up out of a thermal generator goes through digitization, and then analytics runs on that, and then critical infrastructure of a city, like smart city in the today's world, right? Smart cities are actually using digital a lot. What do you mean by that? Like your street lights, they are actually intelligent now. They switch off at the right time and switch on at the right time. How is that possible? It is possible by actually connecting digital systems to this electrical systems. So that is happening already. And then there is a huge investments going on to make IoT in healthcare industry, right? So where you can actually get healthcare from your own home, which is made possible by what we can say the remote healthcare systems and technical systems which can actually send messages back to the hospitals and provide care through messages or video calls or personal connections. So this is all happening, and that's another area where the trends are coming in, and cybersecurity is growing in that area. And then most important thing, you can be a CISO or a CSO, Chief Cybersecurity Officer, or Chief Information Security Officer of an organization with just the 10 years of experience or 15 years of experience. So what is required is the skill. If you have the right skills, if you have the right experience, then you can apply and you can become one. Okay, so we know that there are positions exist. There's a great opportunity in cybersecurity. We all know that, right? So what kind of roles we see here? There are so many roles available. The roles are like starting with security analyst, network engineer, network defender, ethical hacker, penetration tester, and many more. There are just a lot of job roles available. We'll see that in a couple of slides how to reach to that path. So how do I become cybersecurity professional? Where do I start? What type of steps I need to do? So these are the questions might be running in your mind. So we are just going to give you. I'm just going to give you a path from here. So where do you start? Yeah. What do you start is you will identify the areas you want to pick. You want to pick up cybersecurity, or you want to pick up cloud security, you want to pick up information security governance. So whichever the profession you have taken, and then in that you learn that skill, and then you also learn hands-on experience, and then also add up some certifications to actually validate your knowledge theoretically. So that what happens with the certifications, just understand one thing. Certifications are not going to give you a job, but they give you a path. What that means is, when there are around 10 or 20 profiles before the recruiter, it's easy for them to shortlist the people with certification. Okay? For that it makes a lot of sense. But having certification alone will not give you a job. You also need to have some kind of hands-on experience. It could be a short-term project, or it could be a on-job experience, or it could be a freelance experience. However you earn that, but you need to have that as well in some of these certifications. Yeah, just understand that. What else is needed apart from that is these skills. The first skill, according to me, is actually continuous learning. Even though it's not listed, I tell you again and again that cybersecurity positions require you to be up to date every day. You should know what are the trends coming in. You should be up to date with the current landscape. You should be up to date with the current vulnerabilities, or what are the trends going on. How do I address it? So that is the first skill, even though it's not listed. And the key things you need to understand is, you shouldn't get bored of solving problems. If that is something you don't like, then it's better not pick a job in cybersecurity, right? So it's all about solving problems. Every day, one or the other issue comes in, and you should be able to solve that. And if you have that kind of attitude, that is the time I suggest you to pick cybersecurity. Otherwise, it's better think something else. If you like designing something, if you want to build something, there are other positions in cybersecurity, which I explain you a little later. But important skill what you need to have is problem solving skill, analytic thinking, logical thinking, and to some extent psychology as well. So what does this all three comes around is about, if there is some unknown attack came, or some unknown issue happened, you are not just relying on the known artifacts with you or known evidences around you. You start using your analytical brain and logical thinking hat, and you are able to come up with some solution, some kind of mitigation method to address that particular attack or particular breach that happened, right? Think in that area. If you love doing anything around logical thinking, anything around analytical thinking, and you are a great communication, you are great in communication skills, that's the time I suggest you to pick this kind of role. Yeah. You might wonder why psychological insights. Why it's needed is, you should be able to identify the adversaries clearly, or when you should be able to identify the pattern. There is a concept called social engineering. It looks all genuine, but really not. They might be faking a particular personality to look like, right? So to avoid or to address that kind of social engineering kind of attacks, and also to convince people about these are the type of threats exist, these are the kind of solutions you need to do, these are the mitigation steps you need to do. That requires negotiation and conversation skills, and also to a large extent psychological insights. Yeah. So now you got to know what is needed, what skills are needed. We also know the job suggest. So what are the top certifications? By the way, the list here is quite conservative. If you go to online, you will find much more longer list of certifications. But since we already listed some, I just want to talk about this. So first point, before going to any certification, decide on what profession you want to go into. If you want to go into ethical hacker, you want to be a penetration tester, you want to be an analyst, then you go through CEH path. You can do ethical hacker certification, you can do CCSP, OSCP. OSCP is another certification which is tough, but it is a best one for, it's called offensive, sorry, I'm not getting the complete name, OSCP, just check it out. So that's another certification which is quite good for people who are interested to do something around penetration testing and ethical hacking area, right? So that's one line, that's a technical line, right? So other certifications, what you see here, so let's say this CompTIA and then CISA and CASSP and SCCP, these are general certifications. Why do I speak it as a general certifications? So there are additional certifications also, as I mentioned. There is CompTIA Network Plus. CompTIA Network Plus is all about network technologies. You can be a network engineer and study a little about network security in that, right? Whereas Security Plus gives you a basic concepts of security across all the domains, right? It's not just penetration testing. It's also about access management. It's also about the governance. It's also about encryption. So it has multiple levels of coverage it does, right? Equal to that is actually SSCP, even though it's listed in intermediate. To me, SSCP is again a foundation certificate to give you a general cybersecurity knowledge across broad domains. Yeah, and then if you want to become an auditor, then the line to choose is CISA. If you want to become a professional, then you want line to choose is CISSP. There is one more which is missing here, which is called CISM by again ISACA. So that is again an advanced course, mainly suitable for information security management, called as that's the course name as well, right? Cybersecurity Information Security, Certified Information Security Manager, right? That's the another certification. And you might find some more interesting certifications coming around cloud, like CCSP. And in the basic level, you also find something called CCSK, CCAK, which is auditor certification. So the certification list, as I said, is not enough to keep it in the board, but just gives you a glimpse of what is available. Yep. So now we know the skills. Let's see what kind of skills are needed for what job. Think about security engineer. If you want to be a security engineer, what you should know, right? To become a security engineer, you should know a little about infrastructure. You should know a little about how do you handle viruses, and then how to deal with forensics. Basically, it's all about system engineering. You know system engineering in the general, and then the next level is security engineering, right? So if you know handling systems, then you can actually become a security engineer and manage systems like intrusion detection, intrusion prevention system, or what we can say, the database security. So all those related elements around engineering comes in here. Okay. Security analyst. So this is the most favorite according to many people. So from the college graduates, generally when they start this courses like CEH and penetration testing, they land up into this role called security analyst. The security analysts are those people who actually do the network monitoring, security event monitoring, and monitoring the firewalls in the SOC, monitoring the SIM, which is nothing but the SOC, I said. SOC NOC. NOC is Network Operations Center, Security Operations Center is SOC, right? These all positions require some kind of analysis. You see the attack and you keep on checking for it and identify the issue and go ahead and actually address that Either you address it or suggest a remediation process so that the next person goes and fixes it. Yeah, that is the job of security analyst. Security administrator. So what's the difference between security engineer and administrator? So security administrator is the person who actually manage the security solutions. So what we spoke about IDS and IPS earlier, right? Who can manage the administration of IDS, IPS, or manage the administration of proxy, manage web proxy or email security, manage the firewall security. So all these security solutions, not limited to what you are seeing here, there are solutions like identity access management solution, or managing SIM solutions like ArcSight, QRadar, Splunk, right? So all about administration comes in this area. Okay, hope you got it. So I'll just give you a clarity again. So analyst, for example, let's take ArcSight for a SIM tool. Whoever is actually logging into ArcSight and addressing the issues and identifying the events and actually addressing the incidents, those people are analysts. But the person who actually administers or manages the policies of ArcSight in the behind, right, manages the administration of the ArcSight behind, is actually considered as security administrator. Hope that clarifies. So then comes security specialist. So there are multiple security specialist practices. So let's say you can become a specialist in any areas. You can become a network security specialist. You can become a system security specialist. You can become a data security specialist. You can become a cloud security specialist, right? Or you can become actually a specialist in penetration testing, etc. So there are many areas where you become a security specialist, and there are multiple layers there where you are actually particularly specialized in that skill, and you become the subject matter expert in that area. Okay. So we got to know what are the positions, and then now we'll see how to reach from feeder level to advanced level. So where do you start? You start as a networking or a developer or a system engineer or a security intelligence, right? So let's start with one entry level. You started as a security technician, and then move into 3 layers, any of these: security analyst or a cybersecurity consultant or a penetration tester. From there, you will, let me speak about the first layer first. And cybercrime analyst, then you will actually again become any of these 3. Same applies to this, right? And then if it actually started as IT auditor, then you can become a consultant or a penetration tester. And then one more thing I'll explain is this map is not necessarily true. We will always go into zigzag function. It's not necessary that this is the same path we are all following. Just understand, this is just what we can say sample mapping of how you can change career. So next one is cybersecurity analyst. From the analyst level, you can become an engineer, and then from there you can become an architect. Or you can actually, from the analyst, you can become a security administrator, we just spoke earlier about. And then from the consultant, again, you started your level as a consultant, cybersecurity consultant, and then you move on to becoming an engineer or an architect, or become a senior consultant and move on from there. And then you started your journey as a penetration tester, then you go into engineering line or architect, right? And then there is one more level which is not given, is the next level, right? After becoming an architect, then what? Then what you can become is you can become a manager, or you can become a specialist in that area. So you can become a senior architect, you can become a chief architect, you can become a distinguished engineer. So you can be a specialist throughout your life. There is nobody stopping you. Same applies to engineer. You can become a distinguished engineer by staying in that same line, or you can choose to be a manager, senior manager, functional manager, delivery manager, CISO, etc. So there are multiple levels there as well. So whichever the path you choose, there are positions available. Yeah. So now we understood the positions and we know what skills are needed. We need to know how much we get, right? Yeah, that's very important. How much money we get. Okay. So one is missing. I want to tell is I think these numbers look already good. However, just understand that these are just industry average. This is not the actual figure. It's not just 15 lakhs, right? It's more than that. It might close all the way to 70 lakhs. And this might start maybe at 15 or 20, or this might be already there at 15, you know. So the numbers are always changing. Just don't take it as at the what you can say at this layer, but take it as a sample that this is the minimum you might get. Yeah. So there are always what we can say ranges, and which keeps changing when you're changing between organization to organization. Okay, with that, I'm done with my presentation and happy to take any questions you might have. You can type in your questions in the question, and I just want to. There are some hands raised. I just want to see what the questions are around. So. What is the certification needed? I think some of the questions I'm reading out loudly so that you understand. Sunanda Mishra is asking, what are the certifications needed for cybersecurity? We spoke about that, Sunanda, already. Hope you got that problem resolved. And then, will certification be given after the completion of this webinar? Yeah. So you will get a certification of after this webinar, for sure. Where can we see the recorded session? There is a link. Okay. So what is the prerequisite to start with cybersecurity? I think that's a good question, Rupesh Patil. There is no prerequisite as such to start cybersecurity. Even in the college or even in the first year of engineering, you can start studying cybersecurity. There are courses available on Edureka as well as other libraries like Coursera and many others, where you find these courses either free or at a very small cost. And you can start there, and you can pick some projects either as a on-job training or as a freelancer. Somewhere you can get that knowledge, and with that you can keep going. Yeah. Another question by Rupesh, how much networking knowledge is needed? So if you want to choose your career in the network security, then you might need to have basic understanding of networking basics like TCP/IP and then others related. You should know Wireshark, and you should also know how do you read the packets, TCP dumps, and all those things, right? So you need to have that basics. If that is what you are looking for, then my recommendation is go through Network Plus and see that material. You understand the course, what is the course containing. So that is the kind of basic prerequisites you need, right? What is the path for Java developer to start cybersecurity? So path for any developer, not necessarily Java, Kirti Mistry, is all about application security. And you can become a application security engineer or application security specialist. Any of those cases, you can start as a security code reviewer, or there are penetration testers, and then there is other career on security engineering and security architect in application security. So those are coming now, and then there are more and more positions coming up because of DevSecOps, growth of DevSecOps, I say. So Kirti, I suggest you to look for application security related courses, and start with security code review or software composition analysis. Yeah, offensive security certification. Yeah, that is a offensive security certified professional is actually a very valuable certification apart from CEH. It's valuable because it's not only tests the theoretical knowledge, but you need to actually be in the lab for the number of hours it has been conveyed, and you need to actually solve the labs in the real time and solve that then and there. Then you get certified. So it's a course which actually not just gives you theoretical knowledge, also practical. So that's the reason I said that's another very interesting certification. Thank you, Indra. Do I have knowledge in deep network security? Do I have? Okay, Rupesh, I don't understand your question, but I understand what you are saying is, do I need to have deep network knowledge to become network security? Not necessarily. You need to have basic understanding of networking, basic understanding of the exploitation of the networking, and then how that takes to the next level. Next, Abhishek Ji. He asks about, are there any freelancing platform you can apply for cybersecurity learnings into? There are many cybersecurity projects which come into freelancers. I think you need to check for freelancer websites. They do offer certain kind of jobs which you can pick it in short term and become one. You might wonder who will be giving it. Yes, the startup companies actually give you short term assignments, and then you need to complete that successfully to get your what you can say credits or money generally. But that's where you can start. What is more credible, CompTIA or any other? So credibility, I'm not the expert here. I suggest you check for something called top 10 certifications or something. To me, actually, for a generic certification you want to start with, I think you can start anywhere between, you can have either CompTIA plus, or you can start, even ISACA has a startup certifications, and even ISC2 has a startup certification, which is SSCP. ISACA once is, I think, there are some courses there by ISACA too. And even with the increasing demand on cloud, even CCSK is another certification which you can pick. Abhishek, hope that helps. Next. Is there any institution for CEH? CEH is offered by EC Council. You can check in EC Council's website for their own coaching centers or certified learning centers from where you can get the course. That's for Gagan MG. So another question by Biranchi is, is there any chances to work in cybercrime investigation? So there are cybercrime functions exist, or you can say departments exist across India. One in Bangalore, one in Hyderabad, one in Kochi, and like that, even in Ahmedabad, Delhi, etc. So how do you reach there? I think there are positions available on cert.in. Just check there. They do have this cybercrime branches where they take cyber forensic analysts or cyber forensic experts, they call it. So you might need to go through a certain training process and go through I think there are some interviews and exam process, but there are these positions do exist in India. Cybersecurity roles in EC domain. So cybersecurity, Pooja Ramkumar, cybersecurity roles are not restricted to ECE or CSE or mechanical, etc. It's all about do you have the right skills? As I said, the soft skills and the technology skills we just spoke about, right? That soft skills like you have interest to probe further, want to learn further. You don't leave it until the problem is resolved. You have that logical and analytical thinking. You have those skills, right? And you want to be like sometimes think like you are a federal agent and you want to solve this problem like what you can say CIA or CBI, right? So you believe you can do such kind of thing? Yes, this is the domain for you. So think in that direction, and if you like such kind of jobs, then you prefer cybersecurity. Otherwise, stay in whatever the domain you are in. Okay, then okay. Mohammed asks for cybersecurity analysts require coding skills. Not necessarily, Mohammed. You do not need to have actually coding skills for cybersecurity analyst. You can start as a network engineer and become a cybersecurity analyst as well. Program language is required for cyber domain. Same applies here. You do not need to be a developer to become a cybersecurity. So that's where I come to one point saying that so people believe or equate cybersecurity with hacking. No, hacking is not the only way you become a cybersecurity professional. There are other professions too. So think about those. So there are positions in governance risk, which is nothing but you can become an auditor, you can become an analyst, you can become an engineer, you can become a advisor, you can become a consultant. So these are all positions adjust. You do not need to be you do not need to start at the development stage, or you do not need to have development knowledge or experience. Just understand that. Okay. Okay, somebody, Gagan is asking, do we need to have Python, web development, SQL knowledge required? As I said, right, depending upon the knowledge you have, you choose. If you are a developer, choose to be into the application security line. If you are actually a system engineer or you are a network engineer, choose in that area. You can become a system specialist or system security engineer, system administrator, or which means cyber security system engineer, cyber security system administrator, etc. I am from Singapore. Which one should I take? So cybersecurity certifications are global. They are location neutral. So you can take it from anywhere. Go, Rio, Kon, right, from Singapore. Do I? Rupesh asked, do I have to have deep knowledge in all fields of cybersecurity? No, not necessary. You can start from basics. So Gagan asks, where do I get resources? Please refer EC Council for CEH. I guess even Edureka might have some material. Please check the website of Edureka. But the key thing is the course comes from EC Council. I suggest check EC Council. What? Okay. What is the way to go into PhD taking cybersecurity? Sunanda Mishra. I like this because even I am thinking in that direction. So there are paths now. Government actually come up with enforcements on universities to start PhD in cybersecurity. You might find MS in cybersecurity, PhD in cybersecurity started by many universities. So the way to go forward is you need to do at least MTech in engineering. You not necessarily do information security in MTech. Just need to be an MTech. You should be a technical person. You have done MTech, then you can go through a PhD process. Or alternatively, if you have done MPhil in technology, then also you can go to cybersecurity. And there are multiple ways in which you can do a research in cybersecurity. So you just check for something in PhD in cybersecurity or PhD in information security, Nanda. You will get these courses available in India. Earlier, they used to be available only in US and Australia and UK. Now they are available in India. Okay, so I didn't get the name. Somebody called webinar registrant. Can you tell something about cyber law scope of law students? So for law students, how do we take is actually data privacy is a very big and important element now. So you can become a data privacy specialist. You can go through the journey of CIPP, which is actually a certification for information protection and privacy certification. So you check that, search for CIPP. So that is where you can start, and that's all about data privacy. And nowadays the requirements are growing because of GDPR requirements and other requirements around data privacy and protection. Another one, okay. Can data science skill transferable to cybersecurity? Yes. Yes, go. Yes, data science skill is very important, or we can say can add on another feather to your cap. If you know cybersecurity and data science, then you will get the job quick and faster, because most of the cybersecurity products and solutions nowadays are using AI and ML. So having data science knowledge is very much useful for you to move into cybersecurity. Pooja Ram Kumar, what are the programming languages should learn? As I mentioned, depending upon what do you want to be. For example, you know Python and you want to be a cybersecurity specialist, you can still become. You know Java, you can still become. So it's not necessary that you need to know particular languages to become applicant cybersecurity specialist, right? So as I said, that is not interconnected, but it is good to have the programming language if you want to do something in application security specifically, right? But if you are actually have done some experience in programming, and if you're choosing to be a network security, actually you are going across, just understand that. Things, the other questions are also related, so I'm dropping that. What if somebody studies cybersecurity and becomes a hacker? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't get the name, but that's a good question. People study cybersecurity for actually learning ethical hacking, but become non-ethical hacker or a hacker. What happens in that case? So this is, you learn certain skill and apply it in a wrong way. There are always consequences, right? You can use a knife for cutting an apple or cutting a person's neck, right? It's always it's the knife, right? This is one skill what you're learning. Then how do you apply is actually something which you do it yourself, right? We do not want more hackers in the world. That's why we are actually teaching cybersecurity, and we want to become want all of you to become what we can say reasonably professional, who becomes a protection of the community, protection of this data, and also the society, right? So if somebody is doing in the opposite direction, we can't help them, and we don't want that to happen. Next, is there any chance to work on? I think I spoke about this. What is the certification or path for security analyst or SOC manager? So if you are a security analyst and you want to become a SOC manager, so the path is initially you have started your journey somewhere as a security analyst, and you'll become maybe a security engineer or a security specialist, and then you become a manager, right? There are multiple levels in analyst level, and then you'll become security lead and then security SOC manager, right? So for that, it's a journey. It doesn't require a path, but there are certain certifications available. I've seen at least some certifications given by SANS and also by EC Council. You check for information security analyst itself, I guess, in EC Council, and same thing is there in SANS. Yeah, there are courses available, but they are not mandatory. Any specific certification from data security by Ram Kumar? So for data security, it's all about the compliance, right now, and also about cryptography, knowing how do you do the encryption. You should know also about privacy policies. So there is no specific certification, but it's good to have the privacy certifications like CIPP, as I said. That's all around what is required to protect the data. Insurance professional. Oh, there's a specific question by Karthik Krishnan. I am from insurance professional from general, and please help me which works. So in any industry, whether it is insurance or banking or even healthcare, right? So the cybersecurity roles are almost similar. So what do you need is, I think we just discussed about the number of layers, right? In cybersecurity engineer, analyst, and then professional consultant. So those are the roles you will pick up, and then you can move on from there to the next layer. Okay, so what is the best place to get up-to-date knowledge about state of cybersecurity? Is there a website? So there are many websites. There is Guardian. There is a data one. There is when you can search for bank info security, and there are multiple security websites available now. Security India is one. So you can pick any of these papers to read and know about it. And in general, if you want to know more about what is the events happening, subscribe for certain, right? Cert is somewhere where you find continuous threats, whatever we are going through. You can actually subscribe for the US cert or Indian cert, so that you get the knowledge of what type of threats are occurring. I think this is a specific question. Probably I'll leave Edureka to answer. Is there a specific course available in application security? My recommendation, please check on the website. Wonderful. I got this. This is exceptional question I have. I should answer this. I am 14 years old. What is the first thing I should learn for cybersecurity? First of all, I congratulate you and I appreciate you to be on my call. And you are learning cybersecurity so early in your life. And for that, thank you. Where can you learn? There are cybersecurity courses for the basic beginners, as I mentioned. They are available on Cybrary, Cybrary, and also on Coursera and many other places. Even Edureka has one. So please go through that courses. Understand what is cybersecurity. What we learn today is not about the basics. Are there a career in cybersecurity? How do I reach there? That is the this session about. So my recommendation is to read more about cybersecurity and the cybersecurity basics and pick up from there. Okay. Okay, so we are coming to the end. I think it's the last question. Is there any chance for a teacher to become in this line? I would like to become. Any one reason for a teacher to use cybersecurity course in her life? So Rupali Mahajan, if you are a teacher, you want to come to cybersecurity professional, you are welcome. There are areas where people require teaching skills, mainly about increasing cybersecurity awareness in organizations. The positions would be like building awareness packages, giving trainings about cybersecurity, etc. So those are the courses generally people look for. So you can still look for that kind of positions, Rupali. We need more kids like you. Yes, I agree. Can you tell something about cybersecurity and blockchain technology? So blockchain technology is upcoming. The way I see blockchain technology is actually what we can say. That is a journal, actually a moving journal. That's how you need to think about a package. A journal is a package. Let's say you have a record inside that. You have sealed it with something and you pass it on, right? I'm just giving in layman terms. That sealed package turns to a second person. He puts a seal again, and it goes on like this, and forever. Maybe at least let's imagine 10 lines by now, right? If it pass through 10 people, it has 10 packages around, right? The 10th person who has the key can still open it, but you cannot change anything inside that. Can only open it and see it, right? Because he is the destined person. It reaches from source to destination. while the 10 people in between do not know what is inside it, and they have no chance to know what is inside that. That is all about blockchain, right? So it is not pure cybersecurity, but it's a method to actually do the transaction securely, right? See this, what we can say, the block mechanism of blocks and chain mechanism of passing a journal from source to destination without tampering, without opening it, is actually ensures the security of the package throughout, right? So that's how you need to see it. So that itself is a separate line. Do not confuse yourself with cybersecurity and blockchain. These two are two different lines. I know we reached 9 now. I just want to ask my fellow panelists to see how long we can go. I think we do have few questions still. Just give me 1 minute, please. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll take a couple more questions and then we'll close. The last two questions. I'm currently in voice network and want to switch into cybersecurity. Have 4 years of experience. Can you tell me where to start? So if you are into networking, you might start probably with Network Plus or Security Plus or something in the basic level to start with as a certification, and gain some kind of hands-on knowledge if possible within your own organization or as an extended project across your organization. So while doing so, you gain that knowledge and then move on to the next career opportunity, right? Next one, jobs where we have to intentionally hack a company database and fix them. What are they called? So intentionally hacking a company, this is something called what they are calling is they're recruiting researchers. This is called research. So you need to be registered as a researcher in that organization. So for example, you are tagged as a researcher in an organization A, then you can go ahead and do, you are almost like a penetration tester. You are intentionally doing a penetration testing to exploit and understand how the organization is going through, and then give the report back to the organization as a research subject, right? So that is, again, you can do it only when the company authorizes to do, and company gives you a right to do exploitation of a particular system or a database. You won't do it until you have that authorization recorded. If you do it without authorization, the cybercrime branch is really severe and it goes through the process what it is. I don't want to speak about it. There are laws for handling it. And then, okay, so one last question. How can I learn cybersecurity for free? I just listed, spoken something earlier, which is Cybrary, Cybrary, Cybrary. And then another one is Coursera and Edureka. And there are courses available online. So just search for cybersecurity courses, and then you might be actually shocked with the number of results you get where you get this kind of resources. Pick a course which actually gives you, even LinkedIn also gives you free learning materials. If you are but you need to actually move yourself as a premium member, then you get it. Yeah. Even Udemy, yes, Udemy also gives certain courses as free. So that is also available. Yeah, so with that, now we are at 9:05, so we crossed 5 minutes beyond our time. So hope my session is useful. I'm really happy to answer your questions, and happy to see that so many people shown interest to learn more about cybersecurity. And as I mentioned earlier, there are so many positions available. It's excitement everywhere, and we are all have so many positions open in the market. We're just waiting for people to apply. So, okay, sorry. I think somebody, Shilpa says, please answer my question before closing. What are the precautionary measures can be taken in cybercrime? So, Shilpa Chaudhary, if I understand that, how can I prevent a cybercrime to happen to myself? That is the question. Then it's almost similar to how you handle the precautionary mechanisms in the organizations. You can actually you need to apply the controls on your own mobiles and even your laptops. So whatever the controls organizations asked you to apply, just apply it on your personal machines, right? So on your mobiles also you need to have the controls like due diligence, what you have. Simple things to say that do not download any application which is actually asking for your GPS information unless it is required. For example, let's say, yes, you are using Google Maps, obviously GPS need to be enabled. For any other app, why do you need that, right? Just verify what is the information it is capturing, right? That's one way to do it. And second, whenever you are clicking on any website or whenever you are getting any SMS, validate that, whether that is the right link coming from. You are seeing something like fishy. For example, you saw a mail coming from ICICI.com, right? There is something written inside, right, which actually looks fishy. It doesn't look like a bank's communication. Right? Validate before doing anything on that transaction, right? It might look like PayPal, but it is not PAYPAL, but it is PAYPOL, right? So just be careful on that. And not only that, it might look like it is coming from your HR department asking your financial information because you got a bonus, right? So be careful whether it is really coming from your HR. Just check up your email address if it is looking suspicious, right? These are all the ways and mediums in which you get attacked. So prevent. You can do that prevention by yourself. So this is not for the career. As a person, how do you prevent yourself to be not cheated by hackers around? Yeah, hope that helps, Shilpa. Okay. Maritime industry. So as I mentioned, I think whether it is maritime industry, insurance, or banking, no matter whatever it is, so you need to have that basic experience and basic knowledge. If you have proven that basic knowledge, and you can start with start applying for the jobs relevant, and then you can be there. Yeah. So I hope that answers. I just want to close it. I know it's already 7 minutes ahead, but I appreciate all the questions. I hope I answered all of them to your, I hope you got the answers relevant. Yeah. With that, let me close and have a happy day and happy weekend. Stay safe and stay healthy. Bye, everyone.